President Trump's trip abroad has delayed his announcement on whether to pull out of the Paris Climate Agreement, and the decision is causing concern among conservatives. One America's John Hines has that story from Washington.
The president campaigned on pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord, but so far he hasn't acted. And now conservatives like Congressman Morgan Griffith from the coal country in Southwest Virginia think the time to pull out has come.
We want to make sure the president gets the message that this is important to the very people who helped elect him. While Virginia didn't go for him, my district went 68% for him. West Virginia, Kentucky, the coal regions of this country came out to support President Trump, and we're looking for a little support back. Not that that was required, but we think this makes good, sound sense. The president is moving the ball forward on a number of fronts, but this one is one where he could get I think, do something positive, and it really wouldn't be that difficult, and I'd like to see him do it.
He'd like to see him do it because Griffith thinks we need a level playing field, which the Paris Climate Accord doesn't offer.
Let's have a level playing field. If this is such good for the U.S., it ought to be good for the Chinese. Let's see them cut their coal and carbon production down 30%. If they do that, then maybe I can say it's a reasonable agreement, but as the president always liked to say in his campaign, I'm tired of us entering into bad agreements for the American people. The Paris Agreement is a bad agreement for the American people, and he needs to get us out of that bad agreement and negotiate something better.
Get us out of that agreement and negotiate something better. But that hasn't happened yet, which is what concerns George Landreth of the conservative advocacy group Frontiers of Freedom.
So I think a lot of us thought that there'd be some pretty quick action, particularly since it didn't require, like I suggested, you should go to the Senate and ask them to ratify it. Actually, not ask them to ratify, but ask them to vote on it. But he doesn't have to do that. I know some conservatives are concerned. I see reason to be concerned, because anytime something that's relatively easy doesn't happen quickly, you wonder, is that because they've lost interest maybe, or he may be getting some pushback from some close advisors, and so he's trying to evaluate what he should do.
Landreth thinks the Paris Agreement is a bad deal for America, not just because it will cost jobs, but it is a mechanism for a huge wealth transfer from the industrialized nations to lesser developed nations. John Hines, One America News, Washington.